Scary times. George Galloway may be controversial, and half of what George Galloway says I disagree with, but half the stuff he says I actually agree with. I've been on his show a couple of times. I've never met him face to face. But he was arrested. He's arrested landing, I think it was Heathrow Airport. Arrested under terrorism because he'd been to Russia. Now, if it turns out he's a traitor, then he should be arrested. And, let's open the Tower of London, let's lock people up. But that's if he is. But I want to see evidence. When the state starts arresting leaders of political parties, doesn't matter how big or small they are, when they start arresting leaders of political parties, that should scare all of us, unless they've got evidence. Where's the evidence? It looks like they're not charging him. So why was he arrested and detained? Why? And why are they always doing it at airports? This is sinister. Look what happened to Graham Linehan. Can hardly say that name. Look what happened to him again. 5 armed police arresting him at the airport because they know where he's going to be and they know he's been through security. It's scary stuff. Doesn't matter if you agree with George Galloway or not. Because like I said, half the time I don't agree with him. But he has a right to say these things. He has a right to his opinions. He has a right to set a political party and challenge the establishment. And we have a right not to vote for him. That's how this works. What we don't have a right to do is start persecuting our political enemies. Because that's what we're doing now. The state is persecuting their political enemies. People who run other parties, comedians who crack jokes, YouTubers. We arrest more people in this country for so-called hate crime and hate speech online than anybody else. And I mean by far. 12,000 people we arrest a year. How many people do Russia arrest every year? About 400. 400 compared to our 12,000. We're turning into we have turned into an authoritarian state. But the job's not done because it can get a lot worse, and it will get a lot worse unless we push back. Unless people like George Galloway takes them to court, and I hope he does. Say many things about George Galloway. He's not a coward. He went to America, to Washington, and went to their capital, their Senate, for a hearing, and he gave them what for of the Iraq War. He's not a coward. So I hope he takes him to court. Disgraceful the country we're living in. Well done, George, for sticking up for himself. Because if we don't stick up for people we disagree with, then who's going to stick up for us when we need help? Again, if he's broken the law, he needs prosecuting. Of course he does. If I break the law, I need prosecuting. But arresting people on a whim, not pressing charges, and not showing us the evidence, disgraceful. Soviet Russia. That's what we're becoming. The Soviet Union. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. If I may.